When I first bought the land, I didn't see it as an investment or some get-rich-quick opportunity. It was a piece of my family's story, something that had survived wars, recessions, and 3 generations of stubborn men who refused to sell it no matter how high the offers climbed. The 220 acres sat on the edge of town, a rolling stretch of prairie grass, wild mesquite, and old cedar trees that shimmered under the Texas sun. It wasn't glamorous, but it was home. My father always said, "Land's the only thing they ain't making more of. Hold on to it like your soul depends on it." I did, until the day I found out that nearly half of it had been stolen right out from under me. It started on a quiet Thursday morning, the kind of morning when the wind smelled like dust and rain. I was driving out toward the north side of the property to fix a broken fence when I saw something strange. There were trucks, big ones, lined up along the gravel road, carrying lumber, pipes, and cement. For a split second, I figured it was county work. Maybe the electric co-op was running new poles again. But as I drove closer, I saw something that made my stomach tighten. Bulldozers carving through the grass, leveling the land, and men in hard hats waving clipboards like they owned the place. I parked my truck and walked straight over to the nearest foreman. "Morning," I said. "You boys lost." He looked at me like I was in the wrong county. "No, sir. We're right where we're supposed to be. New development coming in. Prairie View Estates." "You the inspector?" I laughed, but it wasn't the good kind. "Inspector? No, I'm the owner of this land." The man looked at me, squinted like he didn't believe it, then chuckled nervously. "No offense, sir, but this is owned by Maple Creek Development. Got the paperwork right here." He handed me a file, and there it was, a detailed construction plan for 96 single-family homes, complete with property numbers, utilities, and projected HOA setup. Something cold ran through my chest. I didn't sell my land. Never even considered it. That night, I called the county records office. I gave them my parcel number and waited. After a minute, the woman on the phone said something I'll never forget. "According to our records, sir, that property was sold to Maple Creek Holdings 2 years ago." I nearly dropped the phone. "Ma'am, that's impossible." She double-checked. "Says here the deed was transferred and notarized. You sure you didn't sign something?" I hung up. No, I hadn't signed a damn thing. I drove straight to the courthouse the next morning, requested a copy of the deed, and stared at the signature. My name, written in a shaky scrawl that didn't even look close to mine. A forged signature, a fake notary stamp, and a fraudulent transfer that somehow slipped through the system. For the next few weeks, I tried to get someone to listen, the county clerk, the sheriff, even the district attorney. But the truth was, no one wanted to go up against a major development company. Maple Creek had money lawyers and friends in all the right places. I was just one old rancher with a dusty pickup and a worn-out hat. So I did the only thing a man with patience and pride could do. I waited. I watched them pour foundations, frame walls, and paint houses. I watched families tour the model homes on weekends, children running through the yards that once belonged to my cattle. I kept my mouth shut. I let them build every single house, every mailbox, every driveway, every picket fence. My friends thought I'd lost it. Earl, my neighbor Tom, said one afternoon, "You gonna let him get away with this?" I looked out across the land, watching the sun dip behind the rows of rooftops. "No," I said, "I'm just letting them hang their own news first." By the end of the second year, the development was complete. 96 homes stood proud on the northern acres of my ranch. The HOA had formed, with a president named Harold Dunley, a pompous man with a golf cart and a megaphone voice, who treated the neighborhood like a kingdom. They built a small park, a retention pond, and a shiny new gate at the entrance that read, Prairie View Estates, a Maple Creek community. That's when I hired my attorney. His name was Daniel Ross, a quiet but sharp man who'd handled more land disputes than most people knew existed. I showed him everything. The fake deed, the signatures, the original purchase documents from my father's estate. After an hour of silence and reading, Daniel leaned back in his chair and said, "Mr. Walker, this is the cleanest forgery I've seen in a while, but it's still a forgery." And if we play this right, you'll get your land and a whole lot more. We filed suit against Maple Creek Holdings and the Prairie View Estates HOA. The case took nearly a year to make it to court. During that time, rumors started spreading around the development. Some residents began hearing whispers that the land they'd built their homes on wasn't legally owned by the developer. Harold, the HOA president, showed up at my gate one afternoon, his face red as a beet. "Listen here, old man," he snapped. "You're causing unnecessary panic. The land is ours. The HOA owns this neighborhood. You can't just—" I smiled and cut him off. "You sure about that, Harold? 'Cause I got a feeling that title in your filing cabinet says otherwise." He stammered something about trespassing and drove off in a huff. When the court date came, the room was packed. Maple Creek's legal team looked like a small army. 3 suits for every one of ours. The judge, an older woman with silver hair and sharp eyes, listened patiently as their lead attorney tried to explain that the land had been properly purchased. Then it was our turn. Daniel stood, calm as ever, and handed the judge a folder. "Your Honor, inside this folder the original land deeds dating back 63 years, signed, notarized, and properly recorded. Alongside them, you'll find a notarized expert report confirming the signature on the Maple Creek transfer is a forgery." The judge flipped through the papers slowly. The courtroom was dead silent. "And this," Daniel said, handing over another file, "is a certified affidavit from a notary public listed on the fraudulent deed." She swore under oath she never signed or stamped that document. The opposing lawyer tried to object, but the judge waved him off. After 2 days of testimony, it was over. The judge looked at the crowd of homeowners, the developers, and then at me. "Mr. Walker," she said, "it appears you are and always have been the rightful owner of this land. The court hereby voids a fraudulent transfer and restores full ownership to you. Furthermore, Maple Creek Holdings and the HOA are liable for damages and restitution to every party affected." You could have heard a pin drop. Then a woman in the back, one of the homeowners, started crying. Others began shouting, arguing, demanding answers from Maple Creek's executives. I didn't gloat. I just stood there, hat in hand, feeling the kind of justice my father always believed in. Over the next few months, the fallout was massive. Maple Creek went bankrupt after settling the lawsuits. The HOA disbanded when most of the homeowners realized their houses sat on land they didn't legally own. Some negotiated new leases with me. Others packed up and left. The dream homes they'd worked for suddenly worthless. But not everyone was cruel or bitter. One older couple came to me, holding hands, tears in their eyes. "We didn't know, Mr. Walker," the husband said. "We thought we bought fair and square. Please don't make us leave." I looked at the house behind them, the same land my father once ran cattle through. I saw their garden, their grandkid swing set, their dog sleeping on the porch. I sighed. "You folks stay," I said quietly. "I ain't gonna punish good people for someone else's greed." I ended up renting out most of the homes at fair rates, keeping the community intact. Some folks called me a fool for not tearing it all down, but I didn't care. The land was mine again, and the people who respected it could stay. Years later, I still drive through Prairie View Estates every morning. The trees have grown taller, the houses have aged a little, and sometimes, when I pass the park, I see kids playing where my father once rode his horse. Every time I look at that land, I remember what he told me. Land's not just dirt, son. It's legacy. I learned something powerful through all of it. Patience wins battles that anger never can. Greed can build houses, but it can't buy honor. And justice, when it comes slow, still comes strong. So yeah, the HOA built 96 homes on my land. I let them finish. Then I took it all back. The land, the pride, the peace. And not because I wanted revenge. Because I wanted respect. For my father, for myself, and for the ground that still knows my name.